Oh, you better watch out, you better not cry, you better not pout, I'm telling you why, cause dude, that's 3 actions, and the Lich is next in initiative. Seriously, you need to participate in this combat. Also, thanks for the joke, Ballman. It's still good. Welcome back, my friends, to more of your Pathfinder playtest preview content, and I know I said this yesterday on our legacy video for the Animal Lord. I will say it once again here, as I'm sure I'm drawing 2 different crowds. Merry Christmas, one and all. I sincerely hope that everyone who can hear my voice right now has, or had, if you watch this after the 25th, a wonderful day full of basically whatever it is you desire. Time with family, time with friends, time with loved ones, a day off from work where you don't have to put pants on. Hey, man, I don't judge. In any case, today, this video goes out to every single last one of you who has liked, who has subscribed, who has commented, who's become a patron, who's become a friend over 2018. Seriously, you guys are basically what makes the world go round. At Tommy Gaddy's house. Oops, I said my last name. Don't you all stalk me on Facebook at once. Now, today, we're going to talk about a part of the playtest that I only recently realized I was no longer participating in, because somewhere along the way it just kind of got dropped. Going back thinking about that today, I realized that dropping it may not necessarily be a bad thing. So with that in mind, let's talk about exploration mode in the Pathfinder playtest. Okay, so in case you've been under a rock since August, the Pathfinder playtest in theory is supposed to take place in 3 different modes. Exploration mode, what we're about to talk about, downtime mode for the crafting and the barding and the shopping and things like that, and the classic 1 round is 6 seconds encounter mode. Now, I feel like most games I've played in, be they D&D, Pathfinder, or any kind of dice or card based role-playing game, has only ever really codified the fights. Everything else just kind of happens as you want it to happen. In the playtest, this is an entirely different thing. And frankly, since I've had a little more time to playtest, I'm not 100% sure why that is. So in Pale Mountain Shadow, there's lots of overland travel. We stop and ask, hey, what are you guys doing right now? And there are a list of things that it is my responsibility, or yours as the GM, to boil down what the player says into what they're doing. Anything from following tracks to hustle, investigating, things of that nature, all of which codify a lot of different things in the playtest. As far as Pale Mountain Shadow went, basically it was just hustling, sometimes searching, mostly just, outrunning the Night Heralds. But a more specific thing came up in Lordly Caliber the Resurrection when my party was exploring the ruins of Corvosa. Yeah, we had fun. One of my players wanted to make a knowledge check as they were traveling, looking around and stuff, not realizing that this would cause him to move at half the speed of everyone else in the party, and at the time, there was a monk in the party who, even stealthed on the roofs above, was still outrunning everyone, and it became a huge thing. To say nothing of actions that are fatiguing, though really I don't know who's repeatedly casting a cantrip, or what cantrip one would cast repeatedly to fatigue themselves. Hustling, of course, makes sense. The rest of them are just kind of there. In my other 2 experiences in the Pathfinder playtest as Octarian at the Broken Universe, and Mirrodin in Greenwich Colonies, a ranger and a druid, I've typecast myself too hard. #GreenFaith. Oftentimes, there were several scenarios where the party was technically in exploration mode, but I feel like the GM has just handled the games in such a way that it wasn't needed. Traveling overland, following the trail of a wolf. Obviously, the party is following the thing, but never did it ever come up, hey, this is happening, hey, what are you doing, hey, sorcerer in the back, would you like to participate today? The same has been true for Greenwich Colonies. A lot of that game has been spent in the wilderness. There's a ranger in the party, there's a druid in the party, survival is our jam. But it never comes up that, oh, you're following tracks. Meanwhile, the paladin bard is hanging out in the back. Doing what again, Elu? Oh, okay. None of this really fits. Okay, you can search, that kind of thing. And to be honest, exploration mode to me kind of feels unnecessary and also a little bit like shoelacing. Now, I'm not entirely sure what that term means. I am paraphrasing from my editor, who uses the term shoelacing anytime I call for a perception check that obviously the entire party would be able to pass or something like that. Basically, you're just stopping to roll dice. I feel like exploration mode has its uses for parties that don't necessarily know how to tabletop role-playing game yet, and in that vein, it's very useful. But that said, I do feel like sometimes some characters, though honestly, I also believe that character is incorrectly made if there's a point in time in a given session where you just have nothing to do. Honestly, get a little creative, man. I love character optimization, but the other side exists as well. And it isn't necessarily on the GM to be like, okay, you, what are you doing? How about you? What are you doing? That kind of thing, so much as to create the narrative as you're traveling that you would or would not want to interact with. And again, everyone will have something to do, even if that's just make perception checks. Let the GM explain their world to you. We've crafted it so hard. Also, I'm not entirely sure, though of course I imagine this would obviously depend based on where you are and stuff. One would have to move at half speed to investigate, though then that becomes the argument of how fast is full speed, and does that mean the party is like jogging? And what if we get a wagon? Does the wagon then have to move at half speed so you can take in everything? I'm not really sure this is necessary, but frankly, flat out, the reason I wanted to make this video is I wanted to ask you guys if you are using exploration mode in your games, because genuinely, I am curious. I'm not sure any of my playtest games will, though we will on Twitch tonight, on YouTube this Sunday, be doing a little mini campaign where I'm going to play a rogue monk that I'm going to optimize for you this weekend, as Ross is out of town for the next couple weeks for the holidays, and if it comes up there, it comes up there. If it doesn't, it doesn't. Nevertheless, what do you guys think? Are you using exploration mode? Is this a necessary part of RPGs? Maybe like an optional rule system, and if so, should it be labeled as such in our core rulebook? Let me know down in the comments, and as always, we'll keep the conversation rolling. But for now, that's all the time we have. As always, thank you guys so much for liking and subscribing and hanging out. This week we're getting more of that Pathfinder playtest. We're gonna optimize a rogue who archetyped into monk, because really, honestly, it's just so good. I've been waiting to show you guys this build for a while, and you will see it this Saturday.